The ball eye. Optimus pulls up into Molly's empty driveway. The door slides open, shaking the garage slightly. "Molly!" Optimus shouts, driving in. The door closes behind him and he transforms. His face is lit up with happiness as he looks around the garage. "Shouldn't we be getting ready for the ball?" He beams, wobbling on his peds. His eyes search the room, but it is only bare. His eyes fall on a slip of paper, taped to the wall to keep from flying away. Optimus cocks his head and reaches his hand out. "Out shopping in Animalia with the rest, Molly," he reads it out loud at base. "Yep," RC nods. "The one at Jack's house said the same thing, just without the place." "Ours too." Bulkhead comments for both him and B. "But it's like night here." Optimus sighs, looking at the note. 9 o'clock. How would they have got into Animalia? He asks, tilting his head. Ratchet Prime inquires, "They didn't come into base early, did they?" Ratchet shakes his head, "Not that I know of." He goes back to the computer, typing in numbers. Though he reckons, "I'm guessing you want to head over to the city yourself now, huh?" Ratchet turns on the ground bridge and sets it on a timer. Optimus smiles, and walks through the ground bridge with the others. The streets of Animalia are packed to the brim. The mid-noon sun reflects off of the elegant decorations spreading from one corner to the other. Floating candles instead of street lamps, jack-o'-lanterns brightly lit and grinning. Spiderweb drapes hang from high and low places, and black, orange and white flowers scatter along the streets. Even the gargoyles perched on the roofs have small hats and glowing orange eyes. "Wow," RC laughs, "Animalians don't mess around when it comes to holidays." "They sure don't." Bulkhead agrees, looking around. Almost everybody is in either costume or some sort of Halloween-themed outfit. Heck, across the street, an elf with ghost white hair is rocking the skeleton makeup as she dot. "Well," Optimus shrugs, "let's start looking for the kids." They stroll down the block, gazing at the decorations and buildings with awe. "They could be anywhere in the city right now," Ratchet states, looking up and down the streetway. "Especially if the city is so dash." "Found them." Bumblebee beeps, pointing down the street. "Or, at least 2 of them." Optimus looks back forward to where B is pointing. A few yards up, Myco and Molly, both in t-shirts and shorts, fawn over something in their hands with their arms full of shopping bags. Molly lifts her head back up to face Myco, and turns sharply. Her face lights up. "Optimus!" Molly shouts, waving her hand. "Over here." She stuffs the object back into her bag, squaring her shoulders. The bots hurry up to the girls' sides. "Where are the boys?" Optimus asks, kneeling down. "Jack is still getting his suit fitted." Molly giggles, "He kept getting poked by the pins." Myco leans and whispers into Molly's ear. "Oh, right." Molly beams, reaching into a shopping bag. She pulls out 5 bottles of bright green, fizzing liquid. "Here." Molly pops the corks off of them, green smoke spilling out of each bottle as she hands them out to the team. "Drink this." She smiles widely, bouncing on her toes. Optimus eyes the drink with suspicion. He glances back down to the eager girl in front of him. "Here goes nothing," he whispers, and pours the drink into his mouth. "It doesn't taste that bad. At first." Optimus coughs, the liquid is bitter and tastes of iron. If he could choose one word, it would be putrid. Optimus feels his legs start to give out, and the world swells into a blob of colors. His armor feels like it's constricting around him. "Whoa," he groans, and his vision goes dark as he lands onto the street. "Do you think it worked?" Molly asks Myco, excitingly. "Let's find out." The black and pink-haired girl chirps, walking up to the cloud of green smoke. "HELLOOOOO tilde." Myco giggles, waving the smoke around. Molly trots up next to her friend, peering through the thick green mist. Her smile grows wider when she spots the smaller robotic hand belonging to Optimus. "There he is." She cheers, bending down. Molly gently picks up his hand, letting the smoke clear before moving out. All 5 of the bots are laying on the ground, the empty bottles rolling out of their hands, some shattered from being dropped. "Don't worry," she coos, "it gets easier." Molly beams, letting go of Optimus's hand as soon as she feels him stir. Optimus's optics open slowly, carefully lifting himself off of the cement road. What, he wavers, happened? Optimus rubs his forehead, his vision still blurred. Molly picks up his hand again, sitting down. Molly? Optimus tilts his head groggily. What was in that drink? Oh, Molly giggles. It doesn't matter. She messes around with Optimus's, now human-sized, hand. Notice anything different? Molly smiles, playing with two of his fingers. Optimus looks around. I don't think so. Molly frowns, lifting his hand up. Optimus looks back at her, and to his hand. What? He shouts, his eyes widening. How why did you grow? Molly rolls her eyes, leaving behind her giddiness. No, she scoffs, that was a shrinking potion you just drank. You're human-sized. Molly brushes some hairs out of her face, pushing Optimus's hand back to him. Did you really think I would allow you to be 40 feet tall at a formal event? Molly smirks, crossing her arms. Optimus laughs, limbering up onto his feet. It is weird. He laughs nervously, looking at his hands. I'm tiny. Molly smiles, walking around him in circles. Just as I thought, she hums, around 6-7. She stops pacing around him, taking notice of the other bots. We should probably help them, Molly states. I can't believe it. Molly thinks in glee, the potion worked this time. Molly turns back to Optimus. Oh. Molly chuckles, he still has no idea what happened. She smiles with glee, accidentally kicking Ratchet's head. Ow. Molly winces, oops. Sorry, Doc. She bends down to help him up, pulling Ratchet to his feet. My name is not Doc. Ratchet scowls, dusting himself off. Molly rolls her eyes. Have you never had a nickname? Her shoulders pop as she stretches, walking back over to Maiko's side. Seriously, Molly asks, when are the dudes getting here? Maiko shrugs, helping Bulkhead up. I bet Jack isn't even done with his fitting. She smirks, I don't know why he always shrieked when he got poked with the needles. They didn't hurt. That's because female have a stronger pain tolerance. Molly points out, helping Bumblebee up. Guys are weak. She snickers, they wouldn't be able to handle periods for a day. Maiko laughs in agreement, keeping Bulkhead balanced. Yeah, she sighs, it might take a while to get used to. And with that, Maiko just lets Bulkhead fall. Oof. Oops. Maiko smirks, walking off. Molly rolls her eyes, reaching for her phone. Might as well call up the boys to see where they are. She glances over to Optimus and the other bots, who are still freaking out about their new size. Molly smiles, because it's only temporary. Potions never last long, the green ones only lasting about 8 or 12 hours. She look back down to my phone screen, dialing Raf's number. Come on, Molly mutters, holding it to her ear, I need to pick up the cupcakes soon. Pick up already. She curls her hair around her pinky finger, waiting for Raffle to answer the damn phone. And the phone is still ringing. Molly tightens her lips, and hangs up. Why the hell won't he answer? She growls, shoving her phone back into her pocket. They can't still be in Opals, can they? Molly asks Maiko, relaxing her shoulders. We aren't. They hear someone panting behind them. Finally. Molly breathes out, turning around. Where have you two been? Molly frowns at the two, breathless, boys. Jack and Raph look at each other and wince. Finally, Raph says, Jack's fitting took longer than expected. Darby nods his head, rubbing a band-aid on his arm. Yay, Jack laughs nervously, sorry to keep you guys waiting. He peeks over to the little freak-out group and laughs. It worked. Jack shouts, how much do I owe you, Molly? Molly sticks her open palm out, $30 plus $8 for being late. She smirks, waiting for her cash. Jack pouts, reaching back for his wallet. Fine. He mumbles, pulling out his wallet. I'll give you 30 now and give you the 8 later. Jack states, slapping a $20 and a $10 bill into her hand. Molly eyes him with suspicion, folding the money up and sticking it in her pockets. She turns back around, clapping her hands. Okay, Molly smiles, let's get moving or I will have to pay extra on the cupcakes. Actually, Raph chimes, the seamstress already finished sewing all the suits and dresses. He eyes Jack and coughs, except for yours. Molly groans, rolling her head to the side. Fiani, she grumbles, Jack, go through Wolf Point Gardens and get to the bakery on the right corner. Tell Sammy that I sent you for the cupcakes. Everyone else, follow me to Opal's. She starts walking in the opposite direction. But, honestly, Molly feels like she might be high on helium. Goofy and a little light-headed. And here is where I switch PO versus because third person seems boring now. I want to know, Maiko giggles, handing her shopping bags to Bulkhead, where you got that pendant. I smile innocently, shrugging my shoulders. The moon necklace on my chest glows softly, even in the sun. Oh, just somebody we know. I hum, glancing at Optimus. I mean, eek. He's cuddle size. If you were a mind reader and had no idea what was going on, you would think I am a crazy person. Maiko eyes me with suspicion. Seriously, sometimes I think she is a mind reader. It's unnerving as hell. At least I know Eclipse is telepathic. With Maiko, you can only tell by her silent glare. The sun bounces off the crystal windows and shines directly into my eyes, making me squint. Why couldn't it have been cloudy? I mumble, shielding my face with my hand. My eyes dart around and fall on a long shadow. Bingo. And guess whose shadow it is? Yep. Good ol' Optimus. I look to my left and right, making sure neither Raph or Mix notice, and slip away. I dart into Optimus's shadow, hiding from the sun. Because man, he is huge compared to me. I'm only 5'6" and relatively light. But, frigging Optimus is about a foot taller than me, and his chest is 3 times my width. It's intimidating. XD. But, hey. No more sun in my eyes. That deserves a thumbs up. And just so you can get an idea on the size of everyone else, RC is about the same height as me, Ratchet is about 5'11", B is maybe 5'8", and Bulkhead is around 5'10". I casually walk behind Optimus, holding my hands behind my back. The sun blares down heat on the streets, creating little tiny waves in the distance. In the middle of the frigging fall, I swear, this city fluctuates temperatures like crazy. One week, it is snowing and icicles are hanging off of the ceilings, the next, it's 99 degrees and blistering hot. WTH. The street turns into the boulevard, the road instantly becoming more crowded. Well, I laugh, it is Halloween night. I run my fingers through my hair, catching up to Optimus's side. I smile widely, looking up and down the street. My eyes catch a very familiar grey shark hauling 3 large bags. Yo, Kai. I shout out, waving my arms. Kai looks up, relief flashing across her sharp features. Queen Molly. She yells, jogging up to me. Kai adjusts the bags in her arms, her tail swaying behind her. I raise my eyebrow at the bags. Kai sighs, I'm in charge of bringing candy. For the ball and my husband ate all the candy I already got. She explains, tiger sharks eat everything. I'm glad he is going back for the draft next week, because I can't afford any more food. Kai laughs, showing off her serrated teeth. I chuckle, putting a hand in my pocket. By the way, councilwoman, I smirk, where is Amari? Kai shrugs, looking around, somewhere. I laugh again, observing her confused look. I swear, Kai mutters, he was just here. Well, see you tonight. She smiles and scampers off to find her husband. I grin, watching her run off. Who was that? Optimus asks as we parade down the street. Councilwoman Kai. I answer, she represents the oceans and its people in the council. When she isn't up here, on the surface, she is usually near Australia with her husband, Amari. They live close to one of the southern water palaces. Optimus nods in acknowledgement. I smile and look around. And holy mother of bleep, my eyes widen at the beauty. 54 feet of polished black robotic armor. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous, and here I am, running towards the window. It's beautiful. I gape at it, watching the dragon mannequin spin around. I need it. I whine, mimicking SpongeBob. I lay my palms on the window, practically drooling. The newest upgrade for the nanotic chips, right here at Opal Essence Fashion. Molly, I see Optimus's reflection in the window, you don't need it. But I do, oh. I moan, staring at the magnificent example of body armor. Seriously, if this armor was an actual person, and I met up with them at Euphoria, I would so make out with them. That's how much I am attracted to this armor. Don't worry, Prime. Raph appears next to us, this is where we need to go anyways. I hear the door open next to me, the little bells chiming in my ears. I stay, awestruck in front of the window, looking at each and every piece. Come on, Molly. Optimus takes my arm and guides me away from the display. I keep my direction set on it, the back of my neck buzzing in my ears. Outside, there was a much larger entrance for dragons and griffins and the like. We walk into the smaller doors of the studio/spa/shop/salon, the crystal chandelier hanging above us. The walls are polished white, smooth, blue glass, giving the place a more elegant look. The floor is made out of white tile, cleaned and polished like it ain't nobody's business. 2 grand staircases stand on each side of the lobby, and at the very back of the room, underneath the staircases, a huge, blue tank of water is the back wall. Vibrant colored fish dart across it, bright coral lining the bottom. A huge green sea turtle with other neon colors glides past the glass screen, just giving it a more tropical feel. I breathe in deeply, the scent of coconut and palm trees filling in my nose. Somebody should tell Imdala that it's not summer. I giggle, covering my mouth with my hand. It's hot enough to be. We jolt up at the voice, and I smirk. There you are, Emmy. I jeer, looking to the top of the staircase. An emerald green wyvern stands gracefully at the top of the stairs, her wings on her arms nicely folded to a point. Her dark eyes contrast against her green scales, and her chest is embedded with jewels of all different colors. Her scales are lightly tipped with gold, as are her short horns. Em jumps onto the old stairway rail, sliding down to the floor. Now that I can see her claws, I notice that her talons are gently flaked with gold as well. Hello, darling. The wyverness greets, swaying her hips as she walks over to us. I smile, meeting with her in the middle. Imdala grabs me by the shoulder and pecks me on the cheek. I return the quick sign of friendship and step back. Sorry I wasn't here earlier. She apologizes with her slight English accent. I had brunch with some of my colleagues, and then I had to get things ready for the seasonal collection debut tonight in Dash. I wave my hand, no need to apologize. I step to the side to let her have a clearer view of everyone else. These are my friends, Myko, Raph, Bumblebee, RC, Bulkhead, Ratchet and Optimus. I introduce them to her. Guys, this is Imdala. She is the CEO here at Opal Essence and main stylist. I flash a grin at Emmy, holding my hands up. Curls her tail over her waist. Just call me M. She smiles, glancing at each one of them. It seems my measurements were correct. She chirps, turning on her heels. Follow me. I grab Optimus's arm, pulling him with me as we go up the stairs. You are going to look amazing. I cheer, skipping steps. Optimus chuckles, following me up the steps. I hope so, he comments, because after all this chatter and what I had to go through earlier, it better be worth it. Oh, I look back to him, it will. And trust me, shrinking potions get better. I look up and tighten my mouth, eventually. Optimus eyes me, and we jump onto the top of the staircase. His arm snakes out of my grip and around my shoulders. Optimus, what are you doing? I think with a rising blush, tensing up. What is that supposed to mean? He asks, raising an eyebrow. It means, Imdala walks up behind us, girls on the right, boys on the left. Let's go. She pushes Optimus away. He backs off, pouting a bit. Yeah, that's right. M smirks, watching the guys walk to the other side of the room, Optimus glancing back a couple times. Sue, M smiles, turning to me, that your new boyfriend or Emmy. I whisper yell, slapping her arm, no exclamation point ... not yet at least. I blush, looking away. Well, she giggles, just tell me what you want, and I will dress him to your delight. M bites her lip and winks, just making everything worse. I shout, covering my face, don't do that. I hunt up my shoulders, trying to hide my blush. Or Emmy coos, pinching my cheek. Anyways, she sets her hands on her hips, her wings folding upright. I saw you admiring the Scale X3. Imdala smirks, tilting her round head to the side. I thought that it wouldn't be out till January. I squeal, I've been waiting for that armor to come out since it was announced. Turns me around, heading back down the stairs. How about, she smiles and leads me down the stairs, we get your chip upgraded and maybe a bit extra, and you tell me all about your growing relationship with that hunk of metal you were goggling at. I sigh, sounds good to me. How did they get the exact measurements? Bulkhead asks, looking at his arms. The magic of fashion. Raffle simply and bluntly answers, adjusting his dark red ascot. Raph folds up the cuffs of his dark bronze suit, putting in the copper cuff links. Have any of you guys seen my hat? He asks, looking in the mirror. It's black, has a pair of goggles on the brim, is incredibly worn out. This Ratchet questions, throwing a top hat at the 12-year-old. Raph fumbles with the hat, toppling over. Yep. He springs back to his feet, putting the hat on his head. And done. Raph grins, twisting his hat to fit. And Maiko said I couldn't pull off the steampunk look. He smirks, crossing his arms in delight. Raffle's eyes widen as he remembers a left-off detail. Whoops, he exclaims, almost forgot. Raph goes back to the small bag he was carrying around earlier and pulls out a dark brown leather mask. Optimus eyes it oddly, confused on what it is. Raph slides the mask string over his head and onto his face. It sticks to him like glue, covering his upper features. Molly said it would bring a little bit more mystery. Raph smirks, tipping his hat and walking out of the dressing room. Seriously? Bulkhead shouts, looking down at his black suit with green accents. How did they know what size we would be when we shrunk? B buzzes with a shrug, buttoning the last button on his black and yellow suit. Yeah, well, Ratchet scoffs, fixing his lapel. I honestly don't care how they did it. As long as that shrinking potion doesn't last forever, I'm fine. And with that, he walks out of the room. Bulkhead and B are the next two to walk out, followed by Optimus. Finally, Maiko laughs. You guys take longer than girls. She stands up from the ottoman, twirling in her new dress. It's mostly black with dashes of pink. Her hands are hidden by black gloves reaching to her mid-forearm. Like it? Maiko asks with glee. I was skeptical at first, but I'm rocking the Victorian-era fashion. I'm not a girl for fashion, RC smirks, walking from behind a plant, but this dress isn't half bad. She puts a hand on her hip, showing off her dress. Much to all the others' surprise, she is actually wearing a pretty fancy dress. It's a one-sleeved royal blue evening gown with a thigh-high slit on the left side of the skirt. The one sleeve has silver embellishments, and as does the right side of the dress at the waist. Optimus nods even though he isn't paying any attention at all. He looks around the area, pouting. Dude, Raph exclaims, you should have seen Molly in her dress earlier. She already had her dress made 2 weeks ago, and tried it on when we were getting our fittings. She was gorge. Optimus jolts up from his daze, almost falling over. Where is Molly? He asks, looking around. The brunette is nowhere to be found on the second floor. Something large and loud swoops from underneath them, making everyone jump. Imdala pops up from beneath the floor, dark leathery green wings folding behind her arms. Oh my sparkling stars. She gasps, clapping her claws. You all look fabulous. I've done it again. Emmy freezes, her eyes widening in surprise. Ooh oh. She whines, slowly turning. Hold on, Draco. I have other customers, you know. Everybody looks at each other with wide eyes. Draco's here? Optimus asks, standing up with a groan, as in Molly's brother. Yes. Imdala's eyes, turning her neck to look over the railing. Probably here to pick up the kids. They're here too. Optimus asks with a hint of delight in his voice. Of course. M smiles, only the best for their highnesses. Hibiscus even requested specific gems for her sugar skull theme. I'll just find them myself. Draco shouts from the bottom of the stairs, and the little bell on the door chimes. Imdala grumbles, her tail curling in annoyance. Speaking of finding someone, Raffle drones, eyeing Optimus. Where is Molly? M smirks, shooting Optimus a mischievous look. Follow me. She giggles, trotting down the stairs. Optimus scowls at Raph. I was going to ask her. Keyword: was. Maiko pops, heading down the stairs with Bulkhead. Optimus lightly grumbles, quickly following. M down the stairs. Imdala gracefully hops over the last step, avoiding the singed rug. Watch out for that last step, she says, brushing against a potted plant. It's a bit wobbly. Imdala swishes to a crystal door underneath the second floor, walking into a mist-blanketed room. Optimus cocks his head to the side in confusion, putting a hand on the gold door frame. He waves the mist away from his face, stepping into it with caution. The room has a subtle whiff of roses, and even the fog has a faint pink tint. He relaxes when his audio receptors pick up a very familiar humming. The mist clears up into a swelling mass, and dead center of it is a vintage and polished, cream with gold trim, claw-footed bathtub. The bubbles and froth in the bath's water reach up and appear to almost overflow the tub. Beside it is an oak base, round side table with a top of glass. It is set rather nicely, with a silver platter of grapes and cheese, a half-full wine glass with a fizzing red drink and a small silver bowl with a salad spoon arranged on the small side table, and 2 crystal bowls are on either side of the tub, filled with tiny fish. Behind the tub, small clicks and whirs and buzzes come from a machine with claws and wires, all moving at an unnervingly quick pace. The claws and wires reach up and prick at the girl laying in the tub's neck. Molly's face, however, is just filled with content. Her fingers pop a dark red grape into her mouth, her eyes softly shut. Molly, Imdala smiles, walking around to the other side of the tub. I think that is enough bubbles. Molly sighs, you can never have enough bubbles. She dips her fingers back into the 2 bowls, letting the small fish eat away the dead skin on her hands. Though, Molly pouts, relaxing her neck, I might have a python coiling around my legs. Leave him, waves her hand, he'll get off. Molly laughs wholeheartedly, rolling her shoulders. Oh, and your friends are in here with you? Imdala calls to her, shutting the crystal door as she walks out of the room. Whoa, what? Molly jolts, pulling the machine's claws up. The water swishes in the tub as she sits up, some sort of a tail poking through the bubbles. Molly turns to the left, looking at Optimus and the others. Oh, hey. She beams, taking her hand out of the bowl. Molly's eyes widen when she sees Optimus, and her face burns red hot. Damn, Molly thinks, Optimus cleans up nicely. Did I just say that? More like think it, but still. She whimpers, covering her face with her hands. Hello. Molly laughs nervously, gripping the side of the tub. She tries to look past Optimus and recollect herself, focusing on the small pricks and pokes the machine is causing. What are you doing? Maiko asks, peeking around Optimus. Getting my chip upgraded. Molly relaxes, pointing to the machine, and getting a free spa treatment. She wiggles her fingers in the bowl of fish, causing the small creatures to spread out. Molly smiles, leaning back into the tub, might as well be pampered before the ball, you know. She bites her lip, something slithering off of her chest and into the water. Molly. Bulkhead cringes, not to alarm you, but there is something in the water. Molly opens her eyes, raising an eyebrow. What? Oh. She tenses, it's just the snakes. Molly lifts a leg up out of the water, dozens of snakes coiled around her leg and slithering off into the water. You. Maiko shouts, looking away, seriously. What? Molly cocks her head, reaching into the water. They're cute. And people in the Philippines use huge Burmese pythons for massages all the time. She pulls her arm out of the water, and coiling around her hand, a 4-foot, queen bee ball python morph with dark eyes. Oh, Molly exclaims, stroking its head, you're a pretty one. The python looks like it's smiling, and it snakes around her arm. She laughs, taking its neck in one hand and letting it crawl around her fists. They are really good at getting out tension in your lower back and legs. Heck, there is one coiling around my thighs right now and it's getting a little too tight. Molly takes the smaller snake off of her left hand, reaching down to her thigh. Optimus's eyes widen as she pulls the 2-foot yellow head of a Burmese python out of the water. I swear, Molly shakes her own head, you snakes and your coils. She smiles, kissing the top of his head and setting him down on the edge of the tub, letting the snake slither to the floor. A small beep comes from the machine behind her, the little claws unattaching from Molly's chip. Yay. Molly cheers, feeling the back of her neck. I have the new upgrade. She squeals, sitting up. Molly sets the python on her hand on the table, letting it coil on the empty side of the table. The small snake rings a tiny bell, booping its head on the top of it. Coming, Your Majesty. No, girls. Molly shouts behind her, I can get dressed myself. Ooh, too late. Out from the back of the room, 2 young girls, probably in their early 20s, scamper in with 2 towels and a silky piece of fabric. We have your robe, Your Majesty. The blonde one smiles, holding out the fur-trimmed, white clothing. Molly groans, rubbing her face. Thank you, she shakes her head, Madeline, but I can get dressed myself, thanks. So, if my friends would be so kind as to get out of the room so I can dress. Molly eyes Optimus and the others, pursing her mouth. We get it. Maiko rolls her eyes, grabbing Bulkhead's arm, maybe we can find Jack and stuff his face into a cupcake. Molly laughs, watching them all leave. Okay, ladies. She claps her hands, standing up, where are my clothes? This way, Your Majesty. The brunette curtsies, letting Molly put the robe on. Molly grins, stepping out of the tub. The mates lead Molly into the next hallway, into the mist. With any luck, Molly giggles, letting the girls guide her. This night may go well. The mates giggle as well, opening the door to the next room. Well, hello, Your Majesty. The trio jumps, backing away from the shadowed room. Who's there? Just something steps out of the shadows, an old friend.
Well, I do hope you enjoyed the videos so far and video game content. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment down below. And I noticed 40% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. If you can, please subscribe to the channel. It'll help me and help the channel grow. Until next time, goodbye!